Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Coming to you live a little earlier today as I am working from home this afternoon. Um, but anyway, uh, I want to know, first of all, I want to point out, I think Instagram is doing something weird with my live. So please do me a favor and comment if you watch this and you're actually seeing it, because right now on my feed it shows 0 views, all this stuff, and it's happened my 3 past live videos that I've done. So um, my morning reflection had a lot to do my daily rise, and a lot of the things on my mind today had to do with this idea that one, we're always going to fall down, no matter who you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how many cars you have, no matter it is, every single one of us is going to face difficulties. We're going to face hardship. We're going to face hurdles, and that's particularly prevalent when you own a business, right? I'm not saying if you don't own a business, you're not going to face these things, but when you're a business owner, you just get dragged through the mud. You get, the barbed wire slap on the face, or whatever you want to call it, and um, this is why most businesses fail within the first few years, and this is why the after the first few years, if you are a successful business owner and you make it past those first few years, the statistics of you being in business for 10 years or more is even smaller, right? Because as a business owner, we have all these things, right? If you have employees, you have payroll that you have to make, you have 401ks and benefits, you have employee problems, you have all sorts of things, right? And that's just one aspect of running a business. And then if you have clients, you have, clients that don't pay for services or products. You have clients that want to complain. You have fantastic clients. And the compounding effect of owning a business really takes a toll on somebody. And myself, I'm no different. I'm not special. This happens. I mean, it probably happens more than once a month, to be honest with you. And then you couple in the fact of your father, right? I have 2 boys. My boys are with me like 85, 90% of the time, somewhere around there. And you have those things. I was in a conversation the other day with a guy who doesn't have kids. And I respect this guy a lot, because something he's doing in the coaching space is really, really cool. And I was telling him that I was no longer interested in using what he's doing, not because I don't think it's cool, but because it's not flexible. And when you are a business owner and you're a father and you're a husband, you have to be able to pivot, and you have to be able to be flexible within your daily life. And so for me, I tried out his program this past month, and it's been really good. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it, other than it doesn't work for my setup. And part of that is the flexibility and being able to pivot on a dime. So that's, as a business owner, that's the life that I have set up for myself. That's the life my wife and I have created, and for our family, right? And that goes to the title of, like, it sounds dark, guys. It sounds dark, but one day, yes, you will perish from this earth, and your family will mourn your passing. And hey, what's up, Greg? Glad you're popping on. I believe Instagram's been messing with me for a little bit, but yes, one day you will die. And you'd be like, well, Paul, what are you talking about that? Well, the idea is this, guys. Like, as a business owner, as a father, as a husband, you got to think about your legacy. And as men, as business owners, what I mean by that is we get too narrow tunnel vision focus on producing, right? Like as men, we have this innate desire that we have to produce for our families. And oftentimes what that means is we push away our wife. We push away, hey Joshua, what's up, brother? I hope you're doing fucking fantastic. But we have this idea of if we work more, then we can spend time with the family later. And it's a trap, guys. It's a trap in this idea or this mindset of being a business owner. Like, Joshua, did you mean to send me a request to be in the video? If you do, I'm game, man. I'll pull you in. But this idea of being a business owner and I'll work more so that I can have time later, it's a trap, my brothers. And it's a trap that all too often men fall into. They end up pushing away their families. They push away their spouse so that they can just grind and hustle. And guys, I got to tell you, this grind and hustle shit pisses me off. All right, I'm going to bring in Joshua. I love this stuff. I'm going to pull my mic because I know that's going to mess it up. Let's see if Instagram actually does. Joshua, he's one of my warrior brothers. He's out there in the battlefield with me. I just sent it. Let me see. What's up, my dude? Dude, it works.
Yo, that's what's up, Paul.
What?
Boom.
What's going on, my man? So glad to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, brother.
Hey, so what's resonating with this topic?
Oh, just the idea. Like I was just talking to some brothers today about this whole idea inside of networking about, it's these older folks. You glean wisdom from these older folks, and on their deathbeds, all they talk about constantly, over and over, is like, "Fuck, I wish I'd have just been with my family. I wish I'd have just like prioritized the things I wish I could have right now." And so, I'm like, I saw it popped up. I'm like, dude, I got to come see what my brother's talking about on this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this a lot of times, and I don't know who coined it, but it's like we tend to push away the things that we want the most, right? And I know that to be true for me. I don't know about you, but the things we want the most, like we want to go take that dream vacation and we want to buy the dream car or whatever, and we actually end up pushing it away because we either don't feel worthy that we can have it, or we don't focus on the right things in order to obtain that, right? So my point there is like, if you're a man, you're running a business and you have this mentality, you fall into this trap of, no, if I work, 7 days a week for this month, then I can go and have time with my family. And the thing is, it never stops. It's a trap. You continue that mentality, you continue that mindset, all the while your wife's waiting for you to come home and take her on a date. All the while your kids are pulling at your pant leg to, daddy, play with me.
Yeah.
And I know, like as a business owner with my wife, we've built this business for the past 8 years, and my kids are home. They're home right now. They're upstairs playing, but I tend to fall into this trap a lot too when I work from home, where my son will be like, hey, can we go play, Dad? And there's times that I'm like, no, I got to get this done. And then I have to come back and I have to retract and go, nope, I can go spend 30, 40 minutes with you in your world, because that's really what's important. And I don't want my sons to see the idea of, oh, daddy's just going to go work, even though he's home, he doesn't want to play with me.
Yeah.
And actually,
that's real.
I have a quick story. So this weekend, I don't remember. Oh, so my ceiling fell down because of our dog groomer. We had this crappy contractor, and so I was painting the ceiling, and I was letting it dry. And my son, he's like, "Hey, Dad, will you come play hockey with me?" And I initially said no. Like I was like, "No, I got to get this done, son." And he went off and he went outside, and I had that moment as a father. I was like, you know what? I'm waiting for the paint to dry. This can wait. So I go outside and he's out there crying.
Mm-hmm.
And he's crying because I said no. And it fucking hit me right here, bro. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like, I think about the men that I know that, in a minute, I'm going to ask you what you've been doing, but I think about the men that do this constantly. They do it to their wives. They do it to their family, and they don't see that part. They don't walk outside like I did, and they don't see their kids crying because I said no, and then I had that. I punched myself in the dick, basically, right? Like I basically was like, no, I made that mental note, and I went out there. My son's crying because I wouldn't play with him. So then we ended up playing for the next hour. It was all fine, but I think about these men that constantly do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you can insert their wives, right? Their wives are bored at home. They're crying because their husband's not with them because he's working so much. And then what happens? He comes home and she's trying to tell him she wants to connect, and then what happens? Collision, right? So, you have anything to add to that, brother?
Yeah, brother. I mean, that for sure. Because you're telling the story of my life right there. You start dipping into the wife. My queen, after 7 years, our first 7 years, is finally able to tell me in hindsight, now that I've come and woke the fuck up to the fact that I need to be with her, that
Yeah,
she was ready to leave me. And if it wasn't for the kids, whom I also ignored at the time, no, daddy's got to go, no, I got to go outside and smoke my weed. Got to go play my video game. No, I got to go, no, daddy's smoking. You don't want to be next to me. Oh, we go play in the pool for a little bit, and then I got to go get on the phone somewhere. Always something would creep up. And she's
right.
able to tell me this year all these amazing perspectives. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? And like you're saying with your son, like I can see her in hindsight crying, going, if you'd have just been present there. And it
Yeah,
was never, and I look at it, it's like, dude, this was never difficult. In fact, I always professed my whole life I wanted this.
right.
And yet here I am with the perfect time and opportunity to do it, especially working from home anymore. COVID made things amazing for us opportunity wise, but, without being able to be real about the fact that we aren't doing it and we ain't showing up. I mean, I remember God telling me, I'm sitting here journaling one day, and God's like, you're basically spending 10% of your time that I want you to with your son or with your kids. And I'm like, fuck,
Wow.
dude, 10%? He's like, yeah. And so we got up, we notched it up to 50%. I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 60, 70% right now. So it ain't perfect, but damn, it's like from 10%, it's like, whoa, dude. And most people think
Well,
they're at 100.
yeah, and you said it right there, brother. You said the things that you wanted. Like you're like, this is what I wanted, which goes back to the point of it's weird that as humans, the things that we want, we tend to push away. Like it's the craziest thing because I remember a time my wife and I have been together almost 20 years. We've been married for 13, but there was a time that we almost didn't make it. One was my fault because she went to college, and I had before her, my girlfriend was in college while I was still in high school, and I was like, no, no, no. I pushed her away. I said, you need to go be in college and experience. I've been down this road, and then we ended up coming back together. And then the next time was she went to chiropractic school in a different state, and we were long distance for 4 years. And there we almost didn't make it the first like 3 months she was out there because she pushed me away, and then thank the Lord, we ended up coming back together. But it's like, I don't know what it is, but you have to be cognizant of these things, especially if you are a business owner, your father, your husband, and the working from home. I just think compounds it because you have all those distractions, right? It can be work. It can be, yep, I can work remote. I can be in my office, or I can be fucking playing video games or watching Netflix, right? And but man, brother, I just yeah, it's just and for me for me personally, I lost one of my best friends in 2015. He was a firefighter with me. He died at the age of 36. He had two kids under the age of 6. So I feel
Mm.
like I have this awareness more than maybe most men do. And so when I talk to men, when I coach men, this is something I really point out to them. And my final thoughts before I get into what you're doing is like, just take the fucking vacation. Like take the vacation, go on the date. Like we hear it. Social media makes it sound so cliche, but it's so true. My wife and I just spent 2 weeks in Ireland together, just her and I, and it's like it was expensive. It was hard to leave the kids for 2 weeks. It was hard to leave our business for 2 weeks, but I mean, it was so impactful. And it's like, it's the when we get this, then we will do that or whatever. Like that mentality is just crippling to a man, to a family, to his kids. So, but anyway, brother, I appreciate you popping on. So why don't you? It's Tupelo, right?
What's that?
What's your business? What's your
Oh,
business called?
Tupos.
Tupos. Okay, I was close.
You
But
were very close. I think like Tupelo honey. Is that what you said?
yeah, no. I was like, I knew it was close. So, but tell us about what you got going on. For those of you guys that don't know, Joshua is one of my warrior brothers, who's taken on the mantle with me to help awaken men who are in this situation that we're talking about. So, tell us about what you're doing, brother.
Yeah, I come from very very similar background. The only difference is I had a divorce in the middle, you know, and so I had this weird, I won't call it weird, but certainly unique perspective. As for most, would do everything you could do to stay to the one, stay to the one, stay to the one. She decided to leave, and the reason was because I was so damn stiff and rigid. And so this movement that God's had me motion toward here and actually get fired up is called ignition. It's about igniting that latent potential, right? Because there's this thing that's this old container, this old wineskin is the way I look at it from a scriptural perspective. It's like it's broken, it's dusty, it's old, and every time that God's trying to pour this love inside of there, the container breaks, right? And so he'll pour that love and it's like splashing out and people will get a little bit here and there, but it can't hold enough. So when we say the cup runs over, it's like I look at it as like this little half-ass cup, and so he's given me this idea, like, okay, let's get the new wineskin. And when I saw you posting this, like, dude, like that is exactly what we're after, right? It's this new container that can breathe, that can be present. It's not all judgy, it's not all selfish, and so I'm just excited. I appreciate you having me on, brother. I'll pop off here and let you continue, but
Oh, no, it's
I
all
was just like,
I love this stuff. I've done this a few times with a few other brothers, and obviously Joshua and I didn't plan this, but I love it because it's it's like a mini podcast. It's like a mini conversation on such big, impactful topics for men.
yeah, yeah,
So,
and then need it. So keep it up, my brother. I love you.
hell yeah, I appreciate you. So, I guess any parting words that you have.
Yeah, definitely. Simply be real. Like, be honest with yourself, brothers. Like, there's a reason that you're here watching this. There's a reason Paul's out here called to God to do this thing and bring this fire to you. So keep listening in. Let it scratch that, callus off your heart. And so you can be honest. You be honest about where you're at. Because all this, like, trajectory mapping and goal setting and fucking, airy-fairy shit, if you don't know where you're at, there ain't no way you're getting there. So you got to start being honest with yourself. And hopefully this was a catalyst for that.
Oh yeah,
Thank you,
appreciate
my
you, brother.
brother.
Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
So guys, like just getting back to the original frame. You heard Joshua tell his story. You heard me tell some stories about how it may seem dark, right? Like thinking about your own death is something that is not fun. And I tend to do it more and more, and I tend to allow this to guide more decisions in my life. And it's not because I'm thinking about my end time. I'm thinking about what is the biggest impact that I could have while I'm here doing what I'm doing and helping other men figure this out for themselves. Much like it's taken me 38 years to figure this out for myself. And that's what this thing behind me means. The Rise to Reign Collective is not for me. Yes, it was birthed out of my mind. It was put on a paper, and now I have this. But it's really for the men that are struggling, like I talked about in the beginning. These fathers, these husbands, these business owners that are struggling with how do I balance my work and my family time? How do I provide and do all the things and connect to my wife and connect to my kids? Guys, today it's harder than ever. We are so distracted, we are so sedated, and we are 100% so full of shit, it's not even funny. You heard it from Joshua. Joshua said, most people think they're fucking killing it. They're at 100. And the truth is, you're not even close. Like, there's an exercise that I have yet to do, but I will do with one of my men in my coaching group is this. I'll ask a man, okay, when we look at your balance domain, balance is your connection with your spouse, your connection with your kids. If you don't have kids, it could be connection with your employees. Like, what would you rate yourself 1 to 10? And most guys will say, oh, I'm at a 7. And talking with my other warrior brothers that do this, you bring in their wife. What would you rate them? And they're typically 3 or 4 points lower than what the man rated themselves. So if the man's rating himself at a 7 and his wife comes in and he goes, no, he's a 4. Right? That's a reaction to this whole problem. And so, as always, guys, like I make no money doing this. This is not for me to pitch you. This is for me to get the message out. I had no idea Josh was going to pop on. He happened to catch my live, and now we just did a little mini podcast, and there were some serious nuggets that I think Joshua dropped. But I will tell you that I'm making this my main mission. I'm going out to help awaken men to rise and reign their life. What does reign mean? It means you have the control, because there's so many men that don't have control right now. So many men. So my challenge to you is this: if you're a husband, if you're a father, if you're a business owner, and you're struggling like I was, you're struggling in your body, maybe you're overweight, you're struggling in connecting with your spouse, with your kids, like I was, and it continues to be something that comes up for me. You heard my story. I pivoted real quick, and I took my son, who was crying outside because I said I couldn't play with him at that time, and I flipped it. That's a fucking change that I've been able to imprint in my mind to make sure that I'm more cognizant of these things. And the more cognizant you can be of these things, and when these things come up, the better life you're going to live, right? I was able to right that wrong with my son and recognize and be there for him and be his father and go and play with him, instead of continuing to do what I had planned to do, right? So that ended up being a positive experience for both of us. But if you're struggling, you need to reach out. You need to reach out to somebody like Joshua, somebody like me. I know a bunch of other coaches. You don't have to work with me specifically unless you want to. So I'll give you the option. I'll do you a solid right here. If you watch this video, first, thank you. And second of all, if you want to figure out where you are stuck as a man, I will send you a link where you can take a 100% free assessment, and it will tell you where you're stuck. This is an assessment that's been taken by probably over 50,000 men in Warrior. I will send that to you. I will not spam you, but if you DM me right now, let's do DM me LFG, let's fucking go, and I will send you that assessment. And you can take it for free. It costs you $0 other than your time to take it. But what it's going to do is it's going to help you see in what area that you are stuck and you need to work in. So whether you choose to coach with me or somebody else or no coach at all, you will have an idea. You will have the information. And that's where this Rise to Reign I'm doing differently, because I really care about people figuring out where, especially these men that are business owners, where they need to focus on. That's why I post content. That's why I do lives. That's why I'm doing all this. And so that is my mission. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Joshua for joining. And as always, rise and reign. Paul out.